is that time, Friday afternoon, 3:30 Eastern. Chris Varley here with Trade Ideas, live Q&A to round out the trading week here with software. If anybody's out there, let me know if you can hear the screen. Start to let people file in, and we get rolling on the day. Take a look at what action was happening out there. Again, we always do a live forum here, so if anybody has any questions, please fire them away. Alrighty, no questions coming in right away. Let's take a look here. Some things that I had on my radar for the day. X, big gap up, earnings from last night after market close. And just kind of flopped around after that gap up all day long. We get the nice gap up, established a low here, established a high here, and just kind of floundered around. Not surprised to see as the market itself started to fade later in the day after making another all-time high. We closed on all-time highs yesterday. We took them out here, but we will not, as of now, close with a new all-time high today. No surprise that X chart looks very similar on 15 minutes. That was one of the big ones on my radar. However, I wasn't going to chase off that gap up. Never convinced me otherwise to get involved. So sat that one out for the day. Some other stuff that I did look at, hindsight being 2020 with the trading always, was LTHM. I really loved the setup coming into this. This, saw that. I thought we had a shot at 28. It started to really flounder here. So I closed out the trade as it was coming up in here. Didn't like the look at this here with some of the market fading. Sold the rest there, and the bottom ticked me, unfortunately. And I wish I'd held a piece of it, but I just didn't want to hold anything going into the weekend, or hold that going into the weekend. But, again, hindsight. Came up, touched 28, moved back down here just about to where I had gotten out of it. So I thought, all right, well, it is what it is. Left some money on the table, but here we are up over 28 now. So anyways, that's the trading world. You get a piece in the middle, had a range of here to here now today. If you can get a piece in that middle there, like I did, it's a successful day. So happy to bank on it. I see people filtering in and filtering out. So, anybody that's wondering, it's Trade Idea software and doing a live Q&A for them. We talk some charts, we talk scans, talk markets, kind of an open forum here. I like to keep it towards the software if we can, but, nothing's off the table completely in the trading world. So please fire away any questions that you have. Some risk that I have decided to take into the weekend, REKR. I've been trading it all week long. I like the way it's coming out of it. I like the way it's rolling off these moving averages here. Not crazy about it getting hung up here on this level. But I'm taking it home for the weekend, so we'll see what happens. Obviously, that's going to be some resistance up there in the 14 range. Maybe I'll put an after hours order to see if I can sell a little bit up there and get an outside the market fill. We'll see what happens there. But I like the chart very much, the way it's rolling off the moving averages. I want to zoom back out a little bit now. And you got this big gap to fill. And you got this big cliff that it rolled off of here. I like the way it's kind of rolled into these moving averages here. RSI moving up with it on the daily, so we'll see what that all turns into there. It's not a huge volume stock, as we can see, just cracking 500,000 shares traded today, coming in the last half hour of trading. That's 0.4 on the relative volume, meaning that it is only doing 40% of its normal volume over the last 10-day average to this point in the day. It's an accumulative ratio that it goes with. It's also weighted heavier at the open and at the close for the relative volume filter that we feature here at Trade Ideas. So short and skinny of that. If anybody has questions about any of those or other filters, I do know a fair amount about them. I'm not an expert. I'm not a programmer. I did not write the code, but I do use it daily for years and years and years now. So we'll see how that all shakes out. Oh man, LTHM really kicking me right now. Look at that move. But I was using this 8 EMA on the 15-minute chart here, and when it pierced it here, I just thought to myself, maybe not. And then when it re-pierced it here, I was like, all right, well, I left some on the table, but now I've really left some on the table. Anyways, hindsight 2020. That's always your best trading. So again, I see people filtering in, filtering out. If you folks have questions, please, pop them in here. I always like when you're helping generate the content for me. Sorry, a little internal messaging that's going on. I'm gonna have to stop looking at that. One other play that I'm taking into the weekend, just a few shares left to it. I sold some already today, but this SPAC here had a lot of volume coming into it, I felt like, compared to what it's been doing. You had this, saw this level here, more of a speculation play than anything else. I took a shot in the pre-market yesterday at this level here, and made this big move up today. I'm going to hold some. We'll see what happens. More speculation than anything else. I have no idea what it is, but I just took a small amount, for fun, see what happens. Got my plan in there. I say for fun, but there was a plan to the trade, and it's all about charts with a little speculative play for a SPAC. So anyways, that's what I did with that. Locked in some profit here and a little more there. And we'll take the rest home for the weekend and see what happens when we open up on Monday. And again, sorry, just some internal messaging, trying to keep up with a few of the things that are going on that I've been working on troubleshooting wise. And this one's starting to play ball with me here after falling off the cliff a little bit, coming into the close. But, we look at the SPY chart here. A lot of similarities here between the two charts. So, looking at this here, looking at getting hung up there, kind of come off, bouncing around, moving up, bouncing around, moving up. So a little bit attached to that SPY there. It's actually a NASDAQ listed stock. However, the SPY being more and more tech heavy these days, you can see that play a role right there. So you want to take a look at the SPY, only evenly weighted. I always recommend the RSP. That's going to be your S&P 500, but equally weighted. Taking a look here, and so made these big moves up. Had a little bit of sell-off back into it again, and right there at all-time highs essentially. So something I mentioned today on the Twitter box is you have all these people with opinions of what's going to happen and why it's happening and all these things like that. And my advice to most people is it's fun. It's fun to have opinions and make predictions, and why not? We're humans. It's what we like to do. It's in our nature. But when it comes down to the business of all of it and making the business decisions that we make here, because it's not a job, it's a business trading. You work for yourself. It's your business. My advice to everybody is pay attention to the price action. Turn off the box, turn off the TV, turn off any other news sources or information coming in. Price action should be your number one indicator above everything else, and that's all that really matters in the end, because as Brian Shannon of Alpha Trend says, only price pays. That's it. Price, that's the end. And that's what we're doing here, trying to find the right prices at the right times. What's my setup? I don't know if you mean what's my setup as in what I'm looking for, trying to enter and exit trades, or my setup that you're talking about the software here. I have a few different setups that I look at as far as trading goes. I really like finding patterns. You kind of see it playing out here a little bit, this kind of pattern. I like to find those on daily charts and find the momentum going into them for a day or two, although a lot of things that I've been trading recently haven't had the follow through during the day or two that I'm looking for, so I've been kind of exiting things a little earlier than I normally would. But I'm also starting to like this pattern here, this kind of like wedging formation here. And I'm finding that where things are making highs and then pulling back into these faster moving averages, and then trying to find the move off a burst of that moving average. Mostly I like the 8 EMA on all time frames, whether it's a 15/5 or daily chart or any other chart with the 20 SMA. And I like to look at those. I like to see when you start to see it widening. All right, so you see how it starts to widen through here. All right, and that indicates momentum to me. Obviously, the closing, losing momentum. I like to find when they start to pull back into each other and then possibly explode back out off that pull. You know, always the quote unquote guesswork, if you will, is it going to pull back in and cross down, for example, like it did here on this 5 minute chart? They pulled back into each other, crossed down. The 8 EMA crossed down on that, and here now they've crossed back over, and price action moving back up for us again. So just because it does one thing on one time frame doesn't mean it does it on another. But I do like to look at them for different confirmations, different reasons for my eyes. So that's my trading, my quote unquote entering exit trading setup. And then of course, like everybody else, I like to look at pivot lines. I don't consider pivot lines to be an exact; they're an approximation. You know, everybody's looking at them, head fakes, a lot of stuff like that. So, you know, for example, you know, is this the pivot line here? Or is this the pivot line? I can grab a hold of it. Or is this the pivot line down here? And this was just a whoopsie through it. You know, there's a lot of whoopsies when you have different support and resistance lines. You see something pop up, poke through a day or two, and then it comes right back down and can't get back above it again. Or vice versa, you could see something pop right down through it a day or two, and then it pops back up, and it still becomes support afterwards. So, you know, pivot lines, you take them for what they're worth. They're not, you know, they're not an exact science. You're dealing with humans and emotions more than anything else. And while yes, for some of your bigger stocks, your bigger fund traded stocks, are there algos that are involved in buy and sell triggers and orders that are sitting and waiting? Yes, but that's all set by humans. It's humans that are doing that. At the end of the day, it's the humans that have programmed it. They're not free thinking computers for themselves. They're not free thinking algos for themselves. It does not exist. So that is what it is. You know, so we're all looking at the same price levels, and the price levels that any of these algos or computers are looking at, they were programmed by a person to look at those levels. So that kind of is what it is. Question about the trade allowance. When I enter trade, paper trading tells me I have exceeded max live order counts of 100. That's probably going to have to do with because the simulator was originally built on IB technology, interactive brokers technology, and that IB will cut your data off at 100 APIs. I think that's where that number comes in because we had to put a cap in to what we can do for data coming in and out of our servers. So I suspect that that's what that is from. Now with IB, if you ever get to your max amount of API data with them, what you can do is connect and disconnect Brokerage Plus, and that'll wipe it out. And that's that. So I don't know if disconnecting and reconnecting the simulator might wipe that out for you as well and reset it. Sorry, catching up a few things here. Sorry, just a few internal chats. I want to make sure I keep up on going into the weekend here. So you're making over 100 trades already there in a day. Sorry, just popping around here watching this. Wondering if I stick a sell order here at the end at 1360. That was resistance from the other day. So you can see right around here, 1360, 62, 63. It was like 20 trades. Can you do me a favor and go to your accounts tab? I don't know if there's a way around this, but go to your account tab on your menu bar and send me your files to support. There'll be a thing that says send files to support, and then email me here, and I'll just inquire with the devs if there's some other way to get around this for you. Right. So that's probably where the rest is coming in. Those when you're scalping out pieces of the trades. Trade dash. Send those support files in an email there and say, hey, is there a way for me to get around over 100 orders for the day in the simulator, and I'll coordinate with some minds that are smarter than mine. I've never done so many trades in a day, so it's not something I've run up against. How do I get the file? You go to here, go to help and go to send files to support. And then email me there at the email address I just dropped in there. It goes into a general email that I, along with several others, monitor, and I can look at what you got going on in the back and see what we can do for you. All right, so we're inside 14 minutes here before we close out the week. Been a heck of a week for Holly. I mean, looking at that there, let's scribble that out because we don't look at aggressive profit because we're traders. We're professional traders here. We don't look at that nonsense. I'm not crazy how we display that as a percent, to be honest, a cumulative percent, but it is what it is. One massive trade here and just really nailed it on this one here. Coming from the Mighty Mouse strat. It's a beautiful entry. Absolutely beautiful entry off this right here. Breaking this range here, that opening range on the day. Ticked it right here. Made a nice move up. Pulled back towards the entry level, and that support had become that opening range break. And just really off to the races today. Never in pain, obeying the 8 EMA on that 5-minute chart the entire day and just pulled away from it right there. So it's not a magic indicator, the 8 EMA. I just personally happen to like it. It's on my chart, so I'm going to comment on it. If I'd been using some other indicator on my chart and it was, working with that, it'll say something about zip file sent. You don't need to do anything else once it's sent. Just email me to that email address that I dropped in here before, so I can remember over the weekend to look at it. I won't be able to open the files now while I'm in the middle of this here. So anyways, massive move on the stock. It's actually percent wise, Holly, and it was good old Holly Grail that came in and nailed it. But it wasn't the only thing that she was doing today. This Givo, looking nice here, especially a nice setup going in. And I talked about before, I'm kind of looking at these kind of wedge plays. So, if I could draw better, that would probably help. So, I'm looking at this here and this here. It's going to resolve itself. Which way is it resolving itself? Well, we'll see, Watch the price action. I love the way it's closing. I like this here. I like this here. All right. And I like this here. Refractal, we call that. It's a refractal time pattern. We can find it on multiple time frames. There's certainly room to move in this stock. Almost 200 mil in the float, so it doesn't just turn on a dime, but we can see it can have massive days. It's capable of these really big up and down days. So, we always got to be protecting ourselves risk-wise on those down days. But this is definitely worth noting. And, it's something I'm going to be watching going into next week. In fact, I am watching it so honestly and so truly that I'm going to put a like on that, and I'm going to set a price alert. 35, not 34. There we go. So that's going to be something I'm watching going into next week. So another Holly gem coming from Holly Grail. A10, and Dan, I see your question. I'm going to jump on that in a moment here for you. Now, we got a big gap up here, got a range going. All right. She picked it here in the range. Unfortunately, she got knocked out of it early here on that profit save. Her algo wasn't going to let a winner turn to a loser, and that's where you see the shading, dark shading part end when she gets picked out of it right here on that profit save. But it's been grinding higher all day long. We're up above any sort of major resistances here, and in fact, we're up above a lifetime high now. Its lifetime high was 1650 prior to all this. So now we got blue sky in all this. There's something to watch over the next several days again too. 24 relative volume. Earnings is the catalyst. Over 7 million shares traded today. Closing near or at its all-time high. Would be lovely to see it kind of grind in an opening range for maybe a short period of time on Monday and maybe give us another entrance here. We'll see, But what we want to do is find those quality setups leading into next week. It's much nicer when you've got a basket of stocks that are quality setups going into a day than just running around chasing 10 different scanners all day long trying to figure out what might be a good setup. Putting us in the best possible positions to succeed. So, hey, Chris, are there any alerts related to options data? Yeah, moving higher on usually options data, the scan from Barry right here. I'm going to share it with you. Let me find where I've got it in my cloud. Somewhere in here. Here we go, share, copy. You take this scan and make it your own. All right, but at least give you a base off of something to work with here. Barry, that runs the traders room, came up with that, and it's been an unbelievable scan for a long time now. I mean, not everything that comes through it is a gem, but it's certainly got ones that are pretty incredible. Take a look at some of the alerts that came through it today, see if anything looks good here. So this is called this at 5:32. So not a lot after that, unfortunately. Well, all right. Called it at 5:32, but did make a move above it. But all the same, that would have been a tough trade. Let's see some earlier stuff. UXIN, not too shabby there. Nice little move off of that. In smaller price stocks, so it is what it is. UAVS. No, not a whole lot to do after that. 21 got to 40. 37, sorry. So a little bit of meat on that, not a ton. IMGN, this was actually something was on my evening scan. I decided not to put it on my list to watch. So 629, quick-lived move, but all the same, a little bit on there. This is a SPAC that's been coming through for days and days and days on this. Andy's made mention on it. He's been in and out of it. Not a bad move off that. Poked up over 11. So these are some faster moving stocks. So you might want to, play with it and adjust it for something that might be moving a little slower if that's what you're into. But definitely some stuff off this. Oh God, hate when I see charts like that from my days when I used to think everything was a pivot line. I never erased any of these things. Anyways, I can get rid of that last line. There we go. So 207 was the alert on that. Nah, really top ticked that one. 409 here. Not too shabby. Never in any pain off that alert, I'll tell you that. On these lower price stocks, how you share sizing is obviously going to make a difference. We covered that. 1171. Wow, that's a pretty nice alert right there. 1171 off that. Got it on this candle. You got to pull back into around 1160 or so, give or take. 1158, not bad. Beautiful move back, right back up in there. And you're sitting pretty solid in the money right through that the rest of the day. So that's a nice alert right there. MTTR, what did this do? 2218 alerts on that. You had to sit through a little bit of pain. I mean, again, you're trading volatile stocks, so kind of relative to what you're doing, but not too bad off that alert. You cracked up over 2270 a few times. Do they say alerts as in alerts versus filters? So pre-made alert can use in building alert. any of those that you know that alerts to options data? No alerts to specific options data, just filters. That's the only thing. We have um, six options data points, and they're all based around filters. So here you go. I mean, I'm sure you're aware of this anyways, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it for options data points that we have. So that's what we got to work with. That's what you got to work with. Nothing hidden or special. Oh my God, LTHM. Why do you hate me? I've traded the stock so many times. Sorry, some more messaging going on in here. Not right. Nope, no, you weren't missing anything. There, Dan. Let's take a look. Let's continue to pile through the rest of these alerts here from Barry's option scanner. As you get later in the day, usually the alerts aren't as quality. 1016, no, top ticked. 1078, top ticked. I don't suspect we're going to see anything else worthy, but out of all those, you had some decent alerts. And you never know. Are any of these setting up going into the next week? There's, some of these have some real massive option volume in them, 1.9K on that today. So, what does that mean going into the next week? Is it someone knows something perhaps? This one continues to climb after that alert. You're only a few cents up off the alert price, but, another one of those SPACs. So what does this mean? Could this mean something's setting up into it? Does someone know something about this company? And that's why you have this options buying, 5K options volume. That's really significant. Alert. Well, you can't do any customs with alerts. So there's nothing you do custom wise with alerts, only with the filters. So really no other option that's in there. Making a notice of that there. REKR doing me nice into the close. That's beautiful. Look at that. Made a real big run. Didn't even notice that. So feeling good about that one going into next week. And like I said, I've been really big into, like, I look for it. You don't see it on this chart as much as I'd like, kind of a cup and handlish pattern that's in here, but that's mostly what I look for. But I like this kind of wedging formation that I've been watching now too. So, add that to the trading arsenal. Massive volume coming in on this too to close out the week here. So feeling good about all these things here. Sometimes, the chips lay in your favor. For a few weeks, I was floundering around, struggling. Now I'm having back at it a little bit again. So there we go. Here talking about the AI with some people here. Again, if you guys have questions, please fire them away. Yep, exactly. Be custom filter, but standard alert. So, and you're stuck with, with the, you're stuck with the data points that we have too. It's, it's not a code compiler. It's just, what we have for data points and metrics and all that kind of stuff. So, there are ways to get a little creative with some of that stuff, but that's it. So anyways, that's covering Barry's scan there. Let's pile through this really fast here. This cross alerts that I came up with. It's not, it's been hit and miss since I went live with it, it's actually had some decent days the last few days, but had a really bad 8 day stretch to start. So it's hard to know, back tested super well. What's it going to do live? We're looking at it now. So it's had some good, some bad. One, two, three, four. So like, and some of these have done this to me too, where it would have exited by the time metrics, and then it looks great after that too. So it's just hard. That's all there is to it when you're trying to come up with scans that put you in the best positions with no losers. So, and just to give you an idea what it looks like here, it took a tip down. It's come back in the last few days on the back test. I'll run the back test real fast here. Hopefully it doesn't take a month to run through it. And there's such thing as over optimizing. So that's where I'm at with this now. Did I over optimize it? And it's really just based for winners from the past. And as we move forward, it'll start to look worse and worse. Or will it hold water and continue to do what it's done with the equity curve over the months? So, and I'll go over real fast what it all looks like here. And again, if anybody has questions, it's the market ends and we closed right on all-time highs. What do you know? So this is what I'm talking about. If it's how it's gonna play out. You can see it starts off kind of a slow equity curve, gets pretty flat for a while, has a nice move up, gets flat, has a sharp move and a nice move, flattens out, flattens, and now it's trying to make a hook up again. So we'll see what happens with all that. And that's that. So we'll see. And then the other thing that's really promising to me is this daily here. Now, back in the history of it, you see a lot of not a lot of losing days, and I get a chunk of losing days here, and now I'm getting a bunch of winning days in a row on the back test. Now that doesn't mean, the things that matter are live, obviously, because what fill you get is not necessarily going to be the alert price. So, it's hard to say exactly what it looks like live. It's running in an account live actually now, but just buying one share at a time. So, and compile that data. I know a lot of people, they want to automate things and just turn it right on and get right to it. That's not how automating should be done. You do whatever you want. It's a free country, your money, your subscription to the software, your life, all that. But, that's how that goes. I would, if I'm setting up to automate, I'm buying one share at a time. If you can do it with, you can do it with E-Trade. If you have an E-Trade account, there's no commission, so you don't have to worry about paying anything other than the cost of admission, or cost of what the stock was up or down. That's it. So, you're talking, when you get 10, 11, 12 alerts in the day and something just moved a few pennies, you're up or down a buck. That isn't costing you anything for your, for running a business. Yeah, no, it was a great day today. A great day for the market and bad day for anybody short. I mean, anybody short, I'm sorry for you, but I just don't understand why you were short. Now, if you want to hedge things like I was talking about yesterday, you start to get a pullback and there's some weakness and you play some SPX or SDS or, TQ or anything like that, those short funds. All right, fine. I can't knock anybody for playing the downside when you're having a pullback. I mean, pullbacks are natural, happy, and healthy. But to be short this market and just think the market's rolling over, there's not one thing on this planet that makes me think of that. Is it going to keep above 560? Well, we got to get 460 first, right? I don't think we've done 460. We didn't quite do 460 today. That. So see some stuff coming in. BTBT. We'll circle back to that. So would you start to remove filters from the strategy, or would you start again from original ones before you added anything in the strategy? If you're talking about the 520 cross, I would probably start to break down the strategy completely. I would come into the configure. There's a lot for me to work with in here, unfortunately. I mean, that's all the filters I have involved in this thing. And I would come in here and I would start to probably either drop filters or I'd widen the filters back out. I'd start to mess with these values that are in here with some of this stuff is what I would do, and then begin the optimization process again. The entire scan is built around a custom filter that I did. I call it a 520 cross filter here. So everything's built around these values in this here, and I played with this a ton. I cannot make this work any better. I have done it for an incredible amount of hours I put into working on this filter, and I cannot find a better way around that. And what this is trying to do is find stocks where the 5 SMA is near but slightly below the 20 SMA on a 5 minute chart. And I just cannot get this to be any better. So that's where I'm trying to find the crosses there. And the catalyst to all of it is a 5 minute new high here. Is that's the alert that's actually happening. So it's not a real cross alert. I'm trying to find things that are near a cross, essentially. So that's what you were talking about there, Dan. Let's close that down. So yeah, just a great day in the market. That's all there is to it. Rising tide lifts all boats. So come on. Who doesn't love to see that? Is there a filter to see trades? No, there isn't a filter to see trades. I'm guessing you're someone I talked to earlier in the day here that was asking me about that in emails. I haven't gotten back to the email side of things. I will at some point there. Rob, if that was you, I'll be answering you via the email as well. If that's someone else, well, they'll be getting an answer from me shortly when I finish up the rest of my stuff that I'm obligated to do for the day around here. No, there's nothing to see trades. We come into a configure and we search. You've got just bid and ask, your size, your ratio. You got some stuff like that, but nothing to say the trades, just volume. As I go through this here, whenever anybody asks me to rack my brain to see if there's something close or we can work something out of the box, because there's a lot of out of the box stuff you can do here, thinking outside the box kind of things that might get you what you're looking for. My big example of that is the bull flag scan that Andy had came up with years ago using position and range filters. But as I go through this, nothing jumps at me to say this is a way to look at how many trades there are. This kind of stuff in here, just nothing jumps at me for it. So sorry, just not a data point we have anywhere to even work a custom or anything like that for you. So no, nothing on that. I'm sorry there, Rob. I don't have a better answer for you. Sorry, I asked her name of your toolbar on the right. This here. You're looking at this here. Your menu bar, menu bar, toolbar, whatever you want to call it, and you're going to help, and you're going to send files to support, and then you're going to send me an email at info@trade-ideas.com. That email that I sent, and it goes for anybody here. info@trade-ideas.com. And that's that. That's where anybody there. You ever got a question after hours or anything like that? You're looking for some other kind of education that we might have. Anything like that. Any questions? Hit us there. That email address. Always someone's there. Talking about the tool you use to mark. Oh, this up here. This is on the charts. I think you have it on the charts, unless you're like back a lot of versions. Okay, perfect. You were talking about, if you're talking about this up here, I don't know what version of the software you need to be on. I don't know which one you're running. The latest production version is 5.5.32, I think. Latest beta is 5.5.45. Some great stuff that's come out in those. There are some people that are suffering what's the word I'm looking for? Lag issues. Sometimes I have them, sometimes I don't. I run a ton of software besides Trade Ideas, so that's why when you guys see me clicking through and my charts are lagging, I am running the software that lets me stream here. I'm running troubleshooting software. I'm running an internet phone. I have so much stuff going on my computer right now. It's angry. So that's kind of why that happens. The one on the right. Oh, this here. That's called Epic Pen. Is that what it's called? EpiPen? Epic Pen? Not Epic. I don't think it's EpiPen. Yeah, Epic Pen. You can find that. Google this. Yeah, Google that. It's a free tool. You Google that, and it's a free tool. You do whatever you want. You can draw all around with it. It's a handy little thing to have. Yeah, that's what you want. Epic pen. That's what I use to draw with. I mean, draw my not so straight lines. So checking all these out here. Da-da-da-da-da. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another alert that worked out after it would have closed the trade. API. Yeah, of course. Anything we got that we could share, we're always happy to. So back to this 520 crossing that I was working on here. Almost all the stocks that it finds have been falling for a long time. I was working on another linear regression version of this, but trying to find things that have gapped up and stayed gapped up. But it wasn't back testing anything worth even noting right now. So that'll be my next step that I look at there. Um, so that's that. That's the short and skinny of that scan that's there. I'm hopeful for it. We'll see what happens. Looking at my curated list today. I told yesterday, I said that BCRX is, on my radar going into today. From yesterday, it's something I've traded a lot. I've been on the right side of trading it quite a bit. Looked like it was going to be good here off the open. This pullback here, I thought about it for 1 second. You can see I had a price alert that was there. Made a nice move up there. I just wasn't 100% convinced, so I stayed out of it and, kind of just chopped around like this. Here, I still like it. Staying on my liked list, not coming off. So, fighting with this 15 level here, got underneath it and had trouble back above it. We'll take a look on Monday what it's going to do. I won't delete that price alert, but I'll probably bring that price alert back down here again. And that might be the line that says yay or nay. It's one of these stocks that can really boogie one side or the other, even with 177 mil in that float there. But again, it's a bio. So it's one of those stocks, you could wake up here with a stand-up triple one day, or you could wake up down here with your bank account emptied or your brokerage account emptied one day. And that's what you got to know about bios and swinging them and things like that. Not for the faint of heart, not for small accounts, and not for people that don't know it. If you can't say what risk management means to you, don't swing a bio. Do yourself a favor. Do your significant other a favor. Do your family a favor. So, but kind of painting itself into a corner here. I've been looking at these kind of wedge patterns a little bit more lately. It's what my eye sees. Going to have to resolve itself one way or the other. I mean, it doesn't have to. It could go sideways forever, I suppose, but that seems to be very unlikely. So keep an eye on that. And of course, be remiss to mention earnings just a few days from now. So that's that. Hit the like. Sure, hit the like. I'm always about hitting like buttons. Checking out some other things that are going on around here. And still trying to keep up with the message that's going on here that are coming into me. Sorry, I think Vin put something in here before chart. BTBT. Let's take a look at BTBT. And for anybody that's just, kind of joining in, Trade Idea Software here. Whoa. That's interesting. Heck of a way to close the day. So Trade Idea Software here, live Q&A. Do this every day at 3:30 Eastern, Monday through Friday. Do troubleshooting of the software here, questions, answers. We go over charts, scans, what the software can't do, how to use it, different ways it's versatile. No one way to use the software whatsoever. So let's throw post market on here. I don't usually look at post market data. Wow, what a move. Holy cow. Well then, I wonder what that's got to be. Obviously news. What are we in? Commodity contracts and dealing. All right. Let's see what if IB has anything to say about this. Resume trading, pause, circuit breaker, cryptocurrency related. There you go. Interesting. Sorry, I'm getting messages. We're gonna have a new build that we're testing over the weekend here. We're trying to get this next build out to you guys here still. We just got one out to you that's got the Market Explorer on it, and I'll tell you what, I'm loving this Market Explorer window. We'll see what this all means here in the rest. But BTBT, I don't really trade crypto, but I think we're in the infancy of this coin madness and what's going on. I think it's going to continue till a politician gets hurt. That's my opinion. There'll be a lot of, jawboning back and forth about it, and we're going to regulate this, or we're going to tax this, or we're going to do this. I don't think you're going to see anything. I don't think you're going to see anything crazy about it up until a politician or somebody that's important with money gets hurt. That's when you'll see something really happen in a crackdown. But you get the Shiba coin or whatever it was that now a bunch of people are supposed billionaires from that. I mean, if they press sell on it, they'd crash the system, and they're not getting out billions of dollars, in my opinion. But they're probably going to leave with a lot of money. To be considered some of the greatest trades of all time if they press sell on it. They're not lost wallets or anything like that. I just think we're at the very beginning of it. That's all there is to it. And is it a scam? Okay, fine. It's a scam. Just be on the right side of that scam. Is it a bubble? Probably. Be on the right side. Bubbles are great. Just don't be on the wrong side of the bubble. Don't go chasing stuff if you don't have a plan. That's all there is to it. If you can't manage your risk, if you can't make adult decisions, if you can't, it's not about controlling your emotions. If you can't understand your emotions and understand how they play a role in decisions you're making when it comes to money, you're probably not very likely to succeed in anything like this whatsoever. So figure out how to do that, whether it's a self-help book or meditating or whatever. I suppose I have to be careful of some of the things I say live here. Whatever it works, figure it out. But you just see moves like this. You're going to see more moves like this, in my opinion. You're going to see a lot more, and just be on the right side of them. Understand how to manage your risk in those. That's all there is to it. So yeah, I like saying that, Dan. I like when the new builds are coming out. I'm a big fan. Big fan. We're really doing some stuff here, and they're really working on this whole thing with these charts, and we're getting close to, or well, I won't say we're getting close. We're moving in the direction of tick by tick data on the charts. We're moving in that direction. It's not something that's being talked about. It's something that's being actively worked on as a top priority of what we're doing here right this moment. So that's that. Anyways, look at my list. This is a curated list here that I do stocks I'm specifically looking at. The rest of the scan, besides having that a list attached to, it's really, really simple. Nothing special about it. As I start to get a little more free time here, as I have some personal events that are winding down in my life over the next week, I'm going to start to work on this a little bit better and see if I can find a better way to run this scan here. I'm really trying to move myself in towards manual and automated trading. But the automated trading that I want to do, I want to curate the stocks that I'm looking at. I don't want to trading just everything. I don't want to look at the whole stock market. I want to look at what I consider quality setups and ways that I can scan for those quality setups to, kind of light up the scoreboard. So right now, this is just what it's looking at. Have to have traded 75,000 shares on a day, average volume 300,000 for the last 5 days. Got to be 75% above the low of the previous day's range, and we don't start looking at stuff till 15 minutes after the open, and it's got to be making a new high on the day. I'm considering something that's more of a pullback now, with maybe that 5-minute high alert and putting some ranges in here and things like that. So that's that. So yeah, Joe, definitely some swing potential in those two stocks, coming out of Holly today. This would be a hard one to swing too much into just because of, that massive move. This one here, lighting up all-time highs and things of this nature. So, some quality stuff coming out of the AI today. And, I'm only talking about those top ones. Yeah, we had some stops hit down here, but also there was some spread to be had in the risk on, risk off, or moderate and conservative modes on these as well. So, it is what it is. If we were to zoom back in on the scan here, She gets it right there, and unfortunately, she comes down and gets stopped out, only to make that move right up. So we established a range here, and we established that actually, before the trade was even taken. She just came back down and tickled that bottoming opening range on the day, unfortunately, before making that move up. So it is what it is. But a trader's eye, sees these things, and me, that's I won't say paranoid, but how many people are looking at that as a stop right now and, stick that a few cents underneath because you don't want to come down and play the same stop that everybody and their brother might be playing, everybody and their mother might be playing. It is what it is. That's what a trader's mind does. Computer can't see that, you know. I can see these things. She might not be programmed on this specific scan and that the way that algo back tested for that stop. So second mouse gets the cheese on this one for sure. Money left on the table without a question. And so while it was a stop out for Holly, you may have had a better entry than Holly and certainly a better exit than Holly. So, these are the kind of things that we look at. Um, it's best when you're looking at software like ours, having some trading knowledge doesn't hurt. I'm an exception to the rule. I had absolutely no idea about trading whatsoever when I discovered Trade Ideas. I took months before I subscribed, coming to every free event that they did, the free traders room nonstop, doing my studying. And then one day I said, you know what? I think I'm ready to take a shot at the software. So there's no substitute for being able to do some trading on your own. There's no bot that's going to do it for you, but you can certainly use these bots to put you and these scans to put you in the best possible position to succeed with some knowledge. That's all there is to it. So we're coming inside 9 minutes here for the 4:30 mark where I usually shut things down. So if anybody has questions, please start firing them away for me. Otherwise, I will start to begin to make my wind down for the evening and weekend here. But, stick around a few moments here, answer some questions. I do like it when you guys help me generate the content, learning and growing and all those things together. It's the best way to do it, I think. And just checking some more internal messaging that's going on here for me, making sure I'm staying up on everything. Can I demonstrate how to put a top list into a new docked window? I sure can. That's exactly what I'm here for. So, new. There's a few ways we can do this. Go to new, top list. I'm just going to bring this top list over. All right, so there's our new top list. Okay, now if I want to put it into one of my docks that exist already, so if we right click, we have into new dock window, new, or these are the ones that exist already. They're going to go in order from first to last, and oops, that I created. That was not what I wanted to do. There we go. In first to last in the order that I created those docks. So for example, if I go with this one here, it's going to go into the first dock window I ever created. So that's the first dock window I created up here. All right. So there it is now. I've duplicated it into this dock window here that already exists. And again, this is going to go, I'm going to get rid of that because I don't want it there, but it's going to go, if you right click, this is a brand new dock or first dock I ever created, second dock, third, fourth, and fifth dock. I have 5 docks that are running right now. So if I want a new dock window, boom, now it's in a new dock window that just loaded into a new screen. I'm going to size it so I can bring it back over here. All right, there it is. It's in a new dock window here. All right, now I can take that. All right, and let's just say if this had been another, I wanted to, have multiple versions of this because maybe I'm sorting the data differently, but I want to use the same top list. This is now down here, the last dock window I created. All right, again, first one. This is a completely new one again. So I can keep putting it in here if I want to. All right, we can do that over and over again. And I'm going to show you how to move it around within the dock. All right. So now we've got 3 versions of the same thing here. And I could have done that with anything. I could have opened some new single stock windows or anything like that. But the same concept applies, whether it was a new window or just duplicating the same window over and over again. All right, so now we're going to make them side by side. So right now they're tabbed. All right, see how they're all tabbed? 1, 2, 3. We're all tabbed. We're going across the tabs. All right, pull one of them from the tab. Now it's in here. Technically, it's part of the docked window even though it's not looking docked anymore. And how do I know that's part of the dock window? If you look here, there's no minimize here. Got to minimize here. All right. And if we look at the original one that I created right here, you got to minimize here. Undocked, never been docked before. Minimize, no minimize. All right. Now by clicking this here, I can grab it. I always recommend grabbing as far to the left as you can. It seems to work the best that way. And now you're going to see the tool kind of pop up here. See that little arrow tool that's going on? That's how we're gonna do this. Hold on, I want to having the windows a little bigger. The dock windows makes it also easier, and my machine's doing a little struggling here with all these docks that are happening. Now you see how it wants to float in or wants to snap into place. All these different ways I can snap it into place here. Where do I want to snap it into place? All right. I think, depending on which side you want to work it from. So there we go. I got it snap into place on this side here. And I can now it's tabbed with these ones here. And if I wanted to take one and untab that, so now they're not all tabbed, I can come and I can do it like this here. And now we have it like this. And this is how we can arrange things. So hopefully that helps you there, Kim. And then I'm going to share with you a couple of videos here. One I did and one Brad did. All right, so here's the one that I did. And here's the one that Brad did. And they're both going to show different things about the docking. All the same stuff, but different ways to look at things and how they dock and all that stuff. And then if nothing else, let me share with everybody this here. I cannot pound the table on this enough how thorough Steffi was in doing this. Steffi's a lady that I work with here at Trade Ideas. She is just one of the most unbelievable people you can imagine. Attention to detail is on everything. She created a full user's guide. It came out several weeks ago now. She constantly updates it. So if we're making changes to the software, she's making changes to the user's guide. This has literally everything you could ever imagine in it for a user's guide. All right. It is so easy to navigate. So this is what it'll look like. Okay. And give a click down here. You can scroll down and you have your quick links to all this stuff that's in here. Okay. Then if you say, well, I'm just not seeing it off these big quick links right here, click on full table of contents. All right. And here's a search feature and type docking. Right. And now you're going to get everything about docking that we have right in here. You're going to get all kinds of tutorials in there. All right. And it'll bring you to the section of the user's guide where you're going to find these things. All right. So, name it, it's in here, topless. Right? Alert windows, alerts, filters. All right? Everything you want. If it's got it, it's in here. She absolutely killed it with this thing. I'm telling you, we are so lucky to have her. And you are so lucky to have her working in support. I'm sure many of you have interacted with her on some emails coming in. She's always doing it. Figured out your mouse pointer needs to be over a desired part of the placement tool. Yeah. So, and again, we can pull this here. All right. So there you go with that there. And same, down here. So for some reason, it seems to work a little better when you're grabbing it from the edges, towards the left or right. At least that's what it was doing with me. What's the difference between a docked window and a layout? Well, you could have multiple docked windows that make a layout. So I'm going to get rid of all this stuff here. All right. All this here. I want to get rid of all the extra stuff so I'm not bogged down. And so, I have multiple docked windows. Here's a docked window. All right. And here's a docked window. All right. And here's another docked window. And then here's a free floating window. And all these make a layout. Now you could have your whole layout into one dock if you wanted to. I don't. So that's why I've done it the way I've done it. And I go in that video that I just shared, I go over why I don't have it all in one doc. But for someone, one doc might work just fine. And for someone else, it might not work just fine. So that's, we got the options there. Give you all the options. Awesome. I'm glad you're finding it useful there, Kim. We appreciate feedback. It's how we can improve on things. That's for sure. So, all right, we're at 4:30. I'm going to give you guys the old going once, going twice, sold routine here. If anybody has any last second questions, pile them in. If anybody's just kind of come in, again, this Trade Idea Software do live Q&A every single day, Monday through Friday, 3:30 Eastern. The place that you're in here on YouTube, we do open this up actually at 9:30 a.m. every day, 9:30 Eastern every day. Barry runs it up until noon each day, gives up the stream for an hour at a noon Eastern Q&A session. He takes it back till 3. Barry shuts down at 3. I open back up at 3:30 for about an hour. Can you drag a floating window into the dock? No, you got to duplicate it. You got to duplicate it, and that's the only way. Or you could, on new, you can open things into a dock window. So actually, this is what you can do. If you come to Tools, Options, Layouts, and you can have everything open into a dock window too. So you just open right into dock windows. I don't like to do that. It's personal preference. You're welcome to do what you like. Is there any specific procedure, suggestions, software, just info, email's fine? Yeah, info, email, because we mark them as feature requests and they get put into a folder anytime someone makes a feature request, and that gets funneled over to the dev department and they score it. And I don't know, whatever they do with data, they're a bunch of data scorers. So that's what they do there. That's their bag, not mine. I just mark it and shove it over to them and constantly say, hey, someone asked about this as a feature. Can I get an update? And they say, hey, no, usually, and go away. That's usually what I get. Kind of is what it is. There are things that, people have made requests for that I think are really reasonable requests. Same with the other guys. And we hound them constantly for you. Your stuff does not fall on deaf ears just because you don't always hear us talking about it. We bother them a lot because, we use the software too as traders, just, as much, if not more than all you guys. And, we're doing the support with you guys and we want to deliver to you. We're in the service part of the support. They're not, it's like in a restaurant, the waiters and the waitresses are the ones that are getting the feedback and the cooks are in the back, well, they're the cooks in the back serving us up these dishes. And we're trying to constantly let them know this is, what's getting served that they like and what's getting served that they don't like. So we're there. We're advocating on your behalf always. Thank you, Kim. You have a great weekend too. Really appreciate that. So yeah, you know how it is, Dan, and it's, it is what it is. It is what it is. I would like to understand more of it. Maybe someday, who knows? I never stop learning. My next step in life is CMT. I just got some of the information to begin my studying in December. So come December of this year, I'm going to start studying, get ready for a level 1 entry on that, and take it from there. But that's my big ambition in life. And who knows, after if I'm so lucky to get a chance to be nominated for CMT and I get accepted into that fellowship, maybe look at some programming and things like that afterwards. So that's kind of how it goes. So, all right, 4:33. I think that wraps it up here. Again, if anybody's coming in at the last second, I make the announcement again. We do this every single day, Monday through Friday, 3:30 Eastern. I open this up as a live Q&A for Trade Idea support. I'm happy to go over charts, scans, any questions that you have related to stocks in general. We can definitely hit up. This room that you're in now opens at 9 o'clock Eastern, Monday through Friday. A gentleman named Barry, one of the most professional and knowledgeable people that I've ever met in the world of trading, opens it up. 9 o'clock Eastern, Monday through Friday. And we do some Q&As throughout the day. Barry's talking about setups and scans. He shares everything. You're not going to find a better person than Barry, in all honesty. He'll tell you he can't teach you to trade stocks. You just hang around for him for a year, you're going to learn stuff. You can't help it. Joe, what is CMT? It means Chartered Market Technician. Like our Michael Noss, Chartered Market Technician, Brian Shannon of Alpha Trends, JC Peretz, Dan Russo, just some CMTs that I interact with on Twitter that are just some really, really great knowledge and source of information. They're the type of guys that have the mentality that I like to have. Price pays. All the rest is nonsense. What does the chart tell you? Anybody can come on and tell you what the fundamentals are doing this, and this is got guidance of earnings that, and this is going to make these sales here, and anybody with a suit and tie can get on CNBC and say whatever they want, or Bloomberg, or say whatever they want. The charts don't lie. The charts tell you everything. That's the bottom line. They show you how the money's flowing and when it's flowing, and that's all that matters, because the only thing that matters is price pays. So CMT, it's a really tough gig to get. It's a really tough place to get into, but it's where I'm at. So, all right, everybody, I'm gonna say have a great weekend. Really appreciate everybody showing up, all the interactions, all the comments, the questions, and I hope to see all of you back here. And anybody that's interested in this stuff, share it out with them. Share this link with a cousin, with a friend, with an aunt, an uncle, a relative. Get them all in here. All right. Thanks again, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful, and very safe but very fun weekend.